morning. I'm Ashleydawn. This is Gettin Real with Ashleydawn, and we're about to get real about issues that everybody's thinking. Well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people are thinking, but nobody wants to talk about, right? That's what my channel is. That's what this little series, the Gettin Real series, is. Talking about things that other people are thinking, but nobody is saying. Nobody's talking about them, especially in Christian circles and in the church, right? People aren't talking about it because you're supposed to be nice and you're supposed to be sweet and you're supposed to be tolerant, and that's great and that's wonderful, but we live this thing called life, and it's real and it's messy, and sometimes we go through things, and it's nice to have somebody be a voice for us. So, hi, I'm that voice. How y'all doing? Anyway, today I want to talk to you about new shoes. Okay, I posted a thing on my Instagram about new shoes and new perspective. I don't know if you've seen, but a lot of people say, new shoes, who dis? Like, I got new shoes. But I want to talk about the struggle of having new shoes. And you may think, Ashleydawn, what in the world are you talking about? Well, anybody that has gotten new shoes before can understand that when you get new shoes, they don't fit your feet, right? You got to break them in. You got to wear them around a little bit, especially if they're cheap shoes. You got to wear them a lot of it to get them to broke in, I remember being a little girl and shopping at Payless. Shout out Payless. I don't even know if they're still around anymore. I loved Payless. And Walmart and Kmart. I almost called it Circle K. Can't buy shoes at Circle K. Kmart and what were the other, like Big Lots. I think I got shoes at Big Lots one time. I definitely got shoes at lots of discount places because my family wasn't wealthy, and my family was very frugal, and that they didn't waste money that they didn't have. And so you got new shoes. Maybe they were Sunday school shoes, right? Maybe they were those little black Mary Janes with a little buckle, and they hurt at first. You had to wear them. Maybe you had to wear some thick socks with them. You had to wear them around a little bit. And once you wore them around a little bit, they got broken in and they kind of formed around your feet, or you stretched them out a little bit and you could wear them. I've always had really wide feet. So if I got a pair of shoes and they were narrow, I would have to stretch them out so they would fit me. And when you walk around with shoes that don't fit you, it hurts. It's very painful. You get blisters, you get sores, you get calluses, it maybe rubs your skin off, then it burns, you get cuts, right? And if there's people that can't stand feet, you probably already checked out of this video. But when the shoes don't fit you, it can be really painful and it can really hurt, and you got to break them in. You want them to feel comfortable, and so maybe you put some Band-Aids on, maybe you put some cushions in there, whatever. It hurts to wear shoes that don't fit you. It hurts to wear shoes that are brand new. You haven't gotten used to them yet. And I wrote a post on my Instagram just talking about, a girl will get new shoes, or maybe a guy. Maybe you're a guy listening. Shout out Tyler. I know you watch my videos, and Jay, and who else watches my videos? Doug and Colby, and I'm trying to think of all the guys that have messaged me and said that they really enjoy my videos. I think Mark has watched a couple of them. So shout out all the men of God and men that are on their way to becoming men of God, that are really trying every day to follow God and fail, but try again. I really appreciate you, and I know that my channel is geared more towards girls, but you are welcome here too. And if you can receive encouragement and inspiration, and my videos point you closer to Jesus, then they're doing their job, and I'm very thankful for that. But I really appreciate you watching and commenting and messaging me and sharing my videos and subscribing and just supporting the call of God on my life. I truly believe it is a call of God on my life to be a voice in the wilderness, shouting out, saying, make way for the King. Me and John have always had a tight relationship. He was a little bit crazy. People didn't understand him. He wore some kind of funky clothes. Sometimes I wear some funky clothes and people don't understand me, and that's fine. Anyway, back to the point. So I posted this thing about, new shoes, who's this? Or you see somebody wearing cute shoes and you're like, oh, I want those shoes. But you don't realize that you wear a size 6.5, shout out 6.5 people, and they wear a size 10. Well, if you wear their shoes, they're going to be so stinking big on you. You're going to be, in shoes that are too big for you. You're not going to be able to walk. You're going to be tripping all over yourself. And it's going to take you a lot longer to walk to where you need to walk because the shoes are going to be too big for your feet. And vice versa. If that person that wears a size 10 tries squeezing into your shoes, your 6.5, they're going to be in a lot of pain. It's going to be painful for them. Why? Because their feet are not your feet. Their shoes will not fit you. Your shoes will not fit them. You can squeeze, you can try, you can, try to fit into their shoes, but they're not made for you. Your feet are not their size. And so it's so funny because we always look at other people and we always want what other people have, right? And we look at their shoes. Oh, those shoes are cute. I want to wear those shoes. And it's like, no, you don't want to wear those shoes because those shoes won't fit you. Those shoes will hurt you. But we don't think about that. We just think about the way they look. Take, for instance, somebody's life. We don't think about the hard times, the pain that they have to walk through, the struggles that they have to walk through, how many times they've tripped, they've been tripped up, they've fallen, they've fallen down, they've had to get back up again. We don't think about that. We just look at the shiny parts of their life. We just look at the outside of their life and we're like, oh, they got a new car, they got a new house, they just got engaged, they just had this baby, their life is perfect. No, nobody's life is perfect. Everybody faces challenges. Everybody faces struggles. Everybody does. Everybody that has feet wears shoes, right? We all go through life. We all go through stuff. And so it's so easy for us to look at other people's lives and to be like, well, their life is perfect. I want their life. But we don't understand that if we had their life, we'd also have their bills, right? That big old fancy house they just bought, well, guess what? If you lived in it, you'd have to pay for it. And then you're like, oh, girl, I don't want to pay for it. And it's like, exactly. That's my point. You don't want to pay for it, but you want to live in it. You don't want to, walk in those shoes that are going to hurt because their life has been very difficult, but you want it to look like theirs, right? Somebody that just had graduated from college with a doctor's degree. And you're like, I want to be a doctor, but you don't want to go to school for 12, 15, 20 years. Well, they're a doctor because they went to school for that long, and they probably got hundreds of thousands of dollars of student loan debt. Do you want to take their debt on? No? Well, then you don't really want what they want, what they have. But so often we think we want what other people have. We want to walk a mile in their shoes until we realize that the stones along the road are going to hurt us just as much as they hurt them. Some people wear life really well, and you can't tell how much they're in pain. You can't tell how much they're hurting. You can't tell how much they're struggling. One of my friends, I thought for a long time, lived a perfect, easy life. She always had new cars. She always lived in fancy houses. She always wore fancy clothes. And I knew her from the outside. I knew her from church, and I knew her from going to events and parties and doing stuff, birthday parties, whatever. And then I got to know her on a personal level. And I got to sit with her at a hospital. And I got to go through some painful moments with her. And I realized, wow, her life is really, really hard. She's going through a lot more than she lets people know she's going through. Her life looked really sparkly and perfect until I got close. And I realized how painful it was. That all those sparkles that shined were tears that she had cried. And I truly believe in the Bible it says that God counts every tear that we have and that He holds them in His hand and He restores them. He gives them back to us with joy and gladness, that He takes our pain and He turns it into a purpose. The things that she had walked through were painful and they were ugly and they hurt her. But those tears that she cried turned into sparkles that showed God's love and showed God's grace. She's one of the most amazing women in the world, but she's struggled a lot. She's gone through a lot. A lot of times we don't realize how much people go through. We just look at the outside of their life and we're like, wow, they're doing really good. They have it all together. But we couldn't walk a mile in their shoes if we tried. Their shoes don't fit us. Their life is their life for a reason. Your life is your life for a reason. God is intentional and he's purposeful, and he never gives us something that was meant for someone else. There's a meme that goes around and it says, God is never going to send you somebody else's husband. Why? Because he's given you your own, even if you haven't met him yet. God is not going to give you somebody else's kids. Meaning, parents that are looking at other people's kids and saying, well, I wish I had your kids. Your kids are perfect. Well, their kids may appear that way because maybe they've had more discipline and maybe they've learned respect from their parents. Maybe your kids would be like that too if you disciplined them, if you gave them structure, if you let them know what was not acceptable for them to behave. That they can't disrespect adults, that they can't disrespect their dad, that they can't disrespect their mom or their grandparents. Maybe your kids would be like that if you'd put in the work. And I'm not knocking anybody's parenting. I am a teacher. I do know a lot about childcare. I do know a lot about raising children. But I'm saying, if you want a result, you have to do the work. If you want your children to be respectable, kind, compassionate human beings, you, for one, need to be kind, compassionate, and respectful of a human being so that they can see that in you. And then if you're dating somebody, maybe you're, separated, divorced, widowed, whatever, and you're dating somebody, the person that you pick to be a partner needs to also have those qualities. Because if your children see the person that you pick not having those qualities, they will think that they don't matter. They'll think, well, mommy doesn't care that the guy she's dating is rude and disrespectful, so I can be rude and disrespectful. Or if it's a little girl, I can date somebody that's rude or disrespectful. Or, if it's a guy and he's dating somebody and he picks a really terrible woman that's just evil and mean and selfish all the time, his children are going to see that. And they're going to think that's okay. They're going to think that it's okay to talk back to people and cuss people out and be rude and be disrespectful. You really have to watch the example that you're setting, not only for your kids, but for other people's kids. Your life is more than yours. And it's so easy to look at other people's lives and to be like, oh, well, they need to do this and they need to do that. No, take your little finger out, point to yourself. What do you need to do? If you want to walk in someone else's shoes, you're going to have to pay their bills. You're going to have to deal with the stuff that you don't know about. You don't really want to walk in their shoes. You don't. You may want to look like them. You may want to look like you're walking in their shoes, but you don't really want it. You don't. I always, growing up, people would be like, I want that house. That house is beautiful and it's so big. And I'm like, who's going to clean it? Who's going to clean that big old house? I do not want a big old house. I'm not trying to clean every single day of my life. Like, give me a small house that I can clean and it can stay clean. I'm not trying to live in no mansion. Honey child. But so often people are like, oh, I want to live in a big house. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, well, who's going to clean that big house? And some people do say, well, I'll have a cleaning service. And that's fine if you do. But I'm just saying, we don't realize what it takes to live other people's lives. You want to walk in their shoes? Okay. Realize that their shoes are very painful. Realize that they go through stuff that they don't tell you about. You don't really want to walk in somebody's shoes. My point for this video is to let you know that what God has for you is for you, and what God has for other people is for them. Stop wanting what other people have. Stop envying and being jealous of what other people have. What is for you is for you. What is for them is for them, and there's a purpose in it that you probably can't even realize right now. So let's be happy for other people. Let's admire their shoes and let them know that their shoes are great and wonderful. But let's never want to wear their shoes. Let's wear our own shoes. And let's be grateful for the shoes that we've been given. Ashleydawn, you talk in pictures all the time. I can't understand you. Be grateful for your own life instead of wanting somebody else's life. Be grateful for yours. If you're a single woman, be grateful for the season that you're in. Don't look at somebody else's life and be like, I want a relationship. I want to marry. No, you don't. You want what God has for you. What does God have for you in this season? Maybe God is going to bless you with children and a family later. His timing is perfect, right? In the Bible, Elizabeth was barren for like 80 years. She was an older lady. She was advanced in her age. She didn't have a child. And I'm sure she wanted one for a very long time, because back then it was like your identity. If you were a woman, you had to have children. And if you couldn't have children, you were like less than. But look at the purpose of God waiting until she was 80 or 70 or however old to give her John the Baptist, so that she would be pregnant at the exact same time that Mary was pregnant, so that John would be the welcome siren in the wilderness to Jesus, so that John would lead the way for Jesus. If John was 60 years old, it wouldn't have been the same, right? God's timing is perfect. Other people that Elizabeth was looking at, I'm sure she could have wanted to be like them, but she served the Lord. Mary didn't come from a super wealthy family. She didn't, the Bible doesn't tell us that she was this, noble woman and she lived in this mansion and she gave birth to Jesus in a mansion. No. By other people's standards, she was probably a normal girl that they wouldn't even want to be like, by normal people's standards. But look at who God chose. Look at what God chose to show his love through. Stop wanting what other people have and be grateful for what you have when you have it. God is using you right where you are, right as you are, and there is a purpose in it that you don't even realize. God has big plans for you. I'm excited. I'm excited for what God is doing in your life, even if you're not. Even if you're struggling and saying, Ashleydawn, I'm not really happy with my life right now. Ashleydawn, I'm really struggling. I kind of want somebody else's life. Can I just encourage you? Stop wanting other people's lives. Stop wanting what other people have. What God has for you is for you. Those shoes that you're wearing fit you real good. Those shoes somebody else is wearing would hurt you. They would cause you to stumble. They would cause you to trip and fall. You would get hurt. Stop wanting other people's shoes. Stop wanting other people's lives. Stop wanting other people's blessings. The blessings God has for you are for you for a purpose. I hope this encourages you. I hope after you watch this video, listen to this video, you realize how specific your life is for you. Yes, I'm sure you have moments that it sucks and you're questioning God, which, hey, newsflash, he can handle your questions. Your questions are okay. He's not mad at you for questioning him. We all question. Shouldn't we give our questions to God? Yeah. So, yes, we have sucky parts in our life. Yes, we have things that we wish we could change. We wish we could do different. We all do. I do. But the moment we say, you know what, God, this sucks. This is a terrible situation. I'm not happy with it, but I trust you in it. I trust you that you're going to use this messy situation for your good. I trust that you're going to use whatever I'm going through to bless someone. That through my struggles, you are going to bless somebody. I trust you, God. And let God show you how specific he has detailed your life for you. It's bigger than you. It touches all the people around you. My life touches all the people around me. It's not just for me. The things that I go through with him are not just for me. The things that I learn about are not just for me. It's for all the people around me. And guess what? The same deal for you. Your life is impacting more people than you realize. You think your life doesn't matter? That is a lie from Satan. Your life does matter. Your life does matter. God has a purpose and a plan so beautiful for your life. And the number one thing the enemy tries to do is distract us from what God is doing in our life and get us to look at what God's doing in everybody else's life. If we are so focused on somebody else, right? We're looking over here, we won't see what's right in front of us. We won't see what God is doing right in front of us for us. Let's stop focusing on our friends, focusing on what kind of shoes our friends are wearing, and let's focus, okay, God, what shoes have you given me? What path have you put me on? What purpose have you allowed me to walk in? You've given me this life for a purpose and a reason. What is that reason? What is that purpose? Help me to live it fully. Help me to do exactly as you've called me to do, exactly the way that you've called me to do it. God, help me to do what you have called me to do. Help me to see what you have called me to see. Help me not to focus on other people's shoes. Help me to look at the shoes that I've been given, and help me to be grateful for them. That's a great prayer to pray. That's a great focus to have. Your shoes matter. Your life matters. Your lane, if you will, your purpose matters in this world, in your life, in the lives around you, and in my life. It's just like an ocean. If everybody took a drop out of the ocean wouldn't be as big. Your life may look like a drop in the ocean, but connected to all the other drops creates an ocean. You don't realize how purposeful your life is. Hopefully that you will. Hopefully God gives you eyes to see how big and how beautiful your life is. That's all I got for this morning. You are seen, you are celebrated, and you are loved. I hope you know that. I hope you feel that. I hope you just get that in your soul this morning. And I hope you know how much I love you. More importantly, I hope you know how much God loves you. Catch you in the next one.